The third phrase here, always hopes. Always hopes. What does this phrase mean? It means to have a faith that something better is going to happen. Hope can be used, obviously, as a noun. We have a hope in something, or a verb. We are hoping for something, hoping for a good result here. This is saying always hope. We're looking for something good to happen. Hope that there is a good desired result that comes about. Looking for the best in the situation or in the person, even when all evidence is against you. How do we do this? How do we always hope? This is basically this, asking God to help you see people and their potential instead of what's going on right now in their life. Loving people and seeing people through God's eyes and seeing their potential and what He is doing in their life instead of what you see right now on the surface. Always hope. Always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. This phrase, to pursue, to not end. Love does not end. I may be sitting there, wait. I loved someone once, and now I'm not even friends with them. That love ended. Come on, it's gone. Love does end. Well, you're talking about love as a feeling, right? Where that feelings kind of come and they go, and they're up and they're down. Love as a feeling is going to lead you astray at different times. It's going to deceive you. This isn't talking about love as a feeling. This is talking about love as a verb, as an action word. This is saying love never ends. Love pursues. It's an action that happens. Biblical love does not end. I heard the story of a couple recently. It was an amazing story of love. The couple had spent some time dating. They seemed like a wonderful couple. Everyone, it was like, wow, they seem perfect together. Like the young couples, you're like, oh, they're so cute. Look, they're perfect together. That's so great. And everyone, just all excited about that. And their love kind of grew, and they decided, hey, let's get married. And the parents, very excited about this upcoming marriage. Everyone's, celebrating. Woohoo, they're getting married. Oh, they're perfect together. This is great. Wedding day comes. Goes off without a hitch. They're married. The celebration happens. The family's so excited about this. They develop kind of some young friends, that they get to hang out with as a young couple, having barbecues together, going shopping together, playing cards together, just watching movies together, enjoying one another, and being together. And on the outside, you're like, man, these two they're wonderful. Aren't they such a great couple? And then further down the line, she ends up getting pregnant, and they bring in their first child. It's a boy. And they are just so excited with this boy that God has given them. I mean, those of you who are parents, remember that when the first child came in, and you're sitting in that room, and you're like, oh, wow. That feeling, that boy comes in, or girl, but this was a boy, sorry. Boy comes in the room, and then they have the sooner than they hoped kind of child, like, oops, kind of child. The second one comes in, and that child, although not an oops, sorry, just a faster than hoped child, was a girl, and they were so excited, the girl, and it's almost like a typical American family, the kind of that one boy, one girl, whatever, the thing going on, and they're like, oh, this is great. And God blesses them with another boy, and so here they are, 2 boys and 1 girl. And they get involved, as their kids start growing up, they get involved in the normal stuff. She's at the PTA. He's doing, coaching the sports teams and all that and watching them go. And God starts getting him involved in ministry and doing some really cool things in this guy's life. And, on the outside, you're like, oh, what a great family. I look forward to their card every year with their picture on it. Oh, that's so neat. And then it happens for them. And in this case, it's not always this case for every couple, but in this case, it was the lady. And she went off the deep end. And there were like little rumors and innuendos, and people were kind of looking around going, there's something not right now in that relationship. And all their friends started seeing her out at different restaurants with different guys. And they're like, this is not good. What's going on with this relationship? Well, suspicions were confirmed when a few months later she moved out. She got an apartment across town. And as friends would drive by, they would see different cars each night at that apartment. They would see different people different men parading through and going through. And they're thinking, oh, what's going on? Meanwhile, he's at home being mom and dad, having to look his friends in the eye when they know exactly where she's at and what she's doing. He's like, yeah, I don't know what's happened. And he keeps going, one step after another through life. Can't believe in what she's done and what she's involved in. As she continues, her life kind of starts to spiral down where she gets in debt. And she becomes basically enslaved to a guy. And she is a debtor to this guy. And he has control over her, and he is not a good man. And she is like, man, in her own words, she would say, I sought after everything. I tried to fill my life with everything else that I thought would fill it, and everything here is empty. I gave up this love, the steadfast love that I had, and I'm pursuing everything else, and it's not filling me up, and I'm dying. If I could turn back the hands of time and go back. Meanwhile, he's still doing the thing, facing his friends and hearing the rumors. So he decides to get in his car and drive over to that section of town. And he sees her. And he calls to her. He says, hey, come back. Come back. Now, can you imagine that for a moment? Walking through what you've just walked through, getting in your car and driving over and just saying, listen, come back. And she goes, I can't. She goes, this guy, I owe him money, I'm in trouble. She goes, I will pay it. And so he pays him. He pays the man, he brings her home. And she has doubt as to his motives. And she begins screaming at him, why? Why did you rescue me? Why did you pay for me? Why did you do this? Is it only to mock me and mock my decisions? He goes, don't you understand? Don't you get it? I love you. I've always loved you. Even when you were out doing the things that I can't even talk about, I have always loved you. You're probably sitting here going, come on, for real? Is that a real story? That's actually happened? Well, yeah, it's the book of Hosea. It's the story of Gomer and Hosea. Hosea was a prophet in the Old Testament. And God used his marriage as a picture for his love for Israel. When you hear that story or when you read that story, who do you identify with? Do you identify with Hosea or with Gomer? Like, oh, I'm Hosea. I love people like that. Do you know we're meant to identify with Gomer? And that's a picture of how God pursues us. It's a great foreshadowing of the gospel story. Well, how do I do that? How do I love? How do I pursue and love in a persevering way like that when someone has hurt me so deeply and crushed me? How do I do that?